What's up, people? I'm Shaggy the Opinionated Hippie, and this is part 7, I believe, of my reviewing and ranking Apple Music's top 100 albums of all time list. Doing them in groups of 10, and I'm going through it with the approach that the final 100 was given to a panel of 5 editors. I'm one of the editors, and as an editor, I can move things around, keep them on the list, but move them around, which I will do at the very end of this. I can keep an artist but replace the album, but only 5 times. I've already done it 4 times. Not really sure where I'm going to use that 5th. I don't think I'm using it today, though I want to several times. I won't. I might. I don't know. And then I get to take off 20, which is an average of 2 every 10, which is where we're at now. I've already taken off 14. I have 6 removals left in the top 30, which seems like might be a hard thing to do, considering that it's probably more unanimous as we get up to the top 30, or maybe not. There is one I'm taking off here that might cause some issues with people that might be like, what the heck? But it's a band that I get, but I've never loved, so I have to. But anyways, let's go through it. I'm just going to go through them all. Starting with number 30. 30 is Billie Eilish's When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? This is a good album. It's a great debut album, but making the claim that this is the best thing Billie Eilish will ever do in her young career. I mean, this album is only a couple years old. And the thing about this album that I'm taking it off. Did I say that? I'm taking this off. It just doesn't have the dynamics of some other sort of pop stars that are on this list. Lady Gaga, Madonna, Beyonce, I guess would count. Just those albums have a little bit of a more dynamic nature, and I think maybe show off a little more of those singer-songwriters' full potential than I think this does. The opening track, or not the opening track, the second track, because the opening track is like a short little thing. If more songs had been of that quality, I think I could defend leaving this on here, but I do think it drops off in this sort of like, almost like a little too low key or muted. I guess this is 5 years old now. Yeah, I mean, but that, what is the first song that's really, really good on here? I guess it is Bad Guy. It's all a Bad Guy, but I thought there was an opening track. Maybe not. Oh no, the exclamation points. Yeah, not that, not the 14-second thing. Bad Guy, I think, is a really good song. I just think, I don't know. I don't think it holds up. I think it just becomes a little too, not enough happens on this album for it to be 30, let alone in the top 100. So I'm taking it off. Love a defense of this for all you Billie Eilish fans out there, but no. 29, Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory. Yeah, they have a number of albums you could put on this top 100 list, including their, the one, has it been 10 years ago now? That one came out, the We Got It From Here. Is that what it was? Their last one, which was absolutely fantastic, much better than it sort of deserved to be, had any right being after a couple decades of not doing stuff. Fantastic album. But yeah, this one, 100%. I might move this up higher than 29. It's up there with one of my all-time favorite, rap/hip-hop albums. Absolutely love Tribe, love their vibe, love the vibe of Tribe. But yeah, 100% keeping this on. Great choice. Motorcycle Racing Outside. Number 28, Dark Side of the Moon. I wouldn't pick this. It's not my favorite, but Animals, I think, is... But you can't put Animals on this list. Apple Music couldn't do that. But yeah, I mean, Dark Side, Pink Floyd has to be represented. Greatest prog space rock band of all time. This album, I mean, you can't deny this album. Apple Music has made some interesting choices, and I don't think this is one of them. I think Shine On or Animals are defensible picks, and Shine On, or We Wish You Were, what is that called? We Wish You Were Here? Shine On. We Wish You Were Here, I think, might even be a slightly more bold choice than this. But I'm okay with this. I'm not going to replace it. I'm not going to use my last replace on this. Number 27 is Led Zeppelin's Led Zeppelin 2. And I have an interesting thought process about this. A thought process that will have to come into play when I make my 20 replacements later on down the line, is I think certain bands have like, and they do, but they have like stepped careers, tiered careers. And I think the Led Zeppelin career is, the Led Zeppelin 2, I don't think is their best album. I wouldn't put it on here, but this is why. It's a great album. It's like an almost perfect album. But I think artists like Led Zeppelin, like you have an idea of what they're going to be as a band. They're a hard rock infused with the blues, heavy, lot of guitar, right? You have this idea of what Led Zeppelin as a band is. On this album, Led Zeppelin 2, they achieve that. This is a perfect version of what they want to do. Whole lot of love, super heavy, but at the same time, you got that weird jammy part in the middle. Heartbreaker, awesome riff, but you got that weird breakdown in the middle. Every song provides like a different, you got the soft side, you got the soft, loud dynamics of the second track, you got the craziness of the Lemon song. Like you have so many interesting things happen. Like Led Zeppelin has, you got Ramble On, you got just the awesome little sort of acoustic feel-good ditty, whatever, I guess so, feel-good ditty. But they achieve it. They do what they set out to do. This is like a perfect Led Zeppelin album. But why it's not their best album, even though it's a perfect album, is because having achieved what they set out to do on this album, we even get a drum solo in here. They then sort of take a break on Volume 3, Led Zeppelin 3, and then they reassess and they go to the next level on 4, Houses, and Physical Graffiti. And they really don't come back down to earth until Presence. But like, they've achieved perfection. This is an apex in their career. Take a little break, and then they go to a higher apex. And so while I think this is an awesome choice, like 4, Holy, and Physical don't happen if they don't get this out of their system. They need Led Zeppelin 2 to happen so that they can then transcend Led Zeppelin 2. So my point is, I don't think it's their best album. However, I fully understand putting this on there because it is, I mean, if you have to define the Led Zeppelin sound of what it is at its very core, this is the album, I would say. This is it. Everything else after this is like them expanding on that core. But yeah, that was a lot of rambling, but yeah, I'm keeping Led Zeppelin 2 on. And I do think this is kind of a bold choice. Good for you, Apple Music. 26 is Kanye West's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. College Dropout, late registration, not graduation. Maybe, no, not graduation. But I don't know. I think the first 2 were better. They're more fun. They're more like, I don't know, something more, I don't know, down to earth. Is something more like early, raw, fun, establishing identity. This one's just, it's aiming to hit a grand slam, and there's something about the size of it, and like, I think the end of it kind of trails off. By the time Chris Rock shows up and just starts dropping jokes, we're like lost the thread. Yeah, I mean, it's still a awesome album. I think I had it as my #1 the year it came out. But I don't know, it doesn't quite hold the same interest as his early albums. I'm not even going to talk about, the craziness of his latter half of his career. But I'm not going to take it off, but I do have reservations about this one. I might drop it lower. I don't think it should be above like Nas. I don't think it should be above Biggie. I don't think it should be, definitely should not be above Tribe. I might, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, but I'm keeping it on just because I only have one more replacement, but I have reservations about this, and who knows? Who knows? Number 25, Miles Davis is Kinda Blue. Yeah, keeping this. Interesting choice would have been something from like the early 70s, and not even like Bitches Brew. Like you got other stuff from the 70s that I think is just like, I would argue any of those like live things, any of that run of like post Bitches Brew, just kind of live explorations are all great albums. But yeah, this one, I mean, it's just it's the iconic album for a reason. Yeah. So Miles Davis, keeping this one on there. Though I do think, I don't know, I do think there is something more. Going with some of that early 70s stuff, late 60s stuff would have been a bolder choice, but we'll keep this one. 24, David Bowie, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Not my favorite Bowie album, but my favorite Bowie album is nobody's favorite Bowie album, so keeping this one on here. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, perfect album. This is one of those that like, I think almost is ubiquitous and like, yeah, David Bowie's best album is easily this. There's no argument. and you're like, yeah, but is it? And that's just like a cliche opinion. Then you go back and listen to the album and you're like, oh yeah, this is a pretty ridiculous album. 100% deserves to be on here. Not taking it off. Then we get to the one that might upset people. 23's Daft Punk, Discovery. I'm taking this off. I think it's a good album. I cannot stand the opening track. One more time, one more night, one more time. I don't like that song. I don't. It bothers me. I was never one of the big Daft Punk people on the big Daft Punk train, thinking they were the end all be all. I revisited this album. That's why I'm doing this whole process, is to revisit these top 1 albums and like maybe discover something new. I don't think this is a top 100 album. I get the appeal. I understand what Daft Punk was bringing, but like personally for me, there's a band that's not on this 100 list, and I'm pretty sure they're not in the top 20. That kind of took a little bit of the Daft Punk energy with a whole bunch of other energy and fused it together and created this other band. Even name dropped Daft Punk on their very first song on their very first full-length album, just as sort of a flex. I think what he does is infinitely more interesting than this. I get it, but I don't enjoy it. It's not something that I really, really like. I don't know. It just seems maybe a little too clean, too smooth, too safe. I don't know if safe is necessarily the right word, but yeah. So I'm taking this off, which means this is the 2 I'm taking off on this one, Billie Eilish and Daft Punk. The next 2 are going to stay, which means I have 4 more left. But yeah, taking this off. So defend this, people. Change my mind on this album, on its importance. Not even its importance. I don't care about its importance. If it's a horrible album and it's important, it's not on this list. Tell me why this is a great album musically. Why I could come around to it. 22, Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run. I wouldn't have picked this. I think Darkness is a better album. I think side B on this album slags just a little bit, though it's bookended by greatness. But yeah, you got to keep this on. Bruce Springsteen has to be represented. I don't know if Born to Run is 22 as an album, though Thunder Road is fantastic. Dun, 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 whatever that is fantastic. What is the name of that song? Ba, ba, ba. Big Man Joined the Band. So many great songs on here. Yeah. So, Jungle Land. And a friend of mine did a thing about, I don't know, it's about 10 years ago now. Wow. Whew, time. But pre-COVID, in which through the mail, through the U.S. Postal Service, he had me, a bunch of my friends, I think it was 50 of us total, people that he knew through his work. We did a mail-in thing where we tried to pick the greatest rock song of all time. And we each nominated a bunch of rock songs, and then he made brackets. And like every month, I'd fill one out, send it back to him. He would send me the updated ones. And I voted for Born to Run as the greatest rock song of all time out of every single rock song on that list. I took it pretty seriously, and I decided that this was the title track to this is the greatest rock and roll song of all time. Lyrically, the drive of the song, the fact that it's Bruce Springsteen. But yeah, I do think it's rock. But yeah, I'm going to keep it on. Rambling. I don't know. I don't even remember who won. I don't think Born to Run won the competition, but it made it. I know it made it to the semifinals. It was one of the last 4, but I think something else beat it out. It was like a law. I think something stupid brought it out. Freebird's not stupid, but you know. And then 21 is the Beatles Revolver. Good choice. I'm glad this wasn't Sgt. Pepper's. I would have been okay with the White Album. I think that's 100% defensible. I think overly ambitious albums that go all over the place are some of my favorite things. Revolver, yeah, 100%. The Beatles, yeah. But yeah, anyways, that's what they look like. The 2 red ones I am taking off. Billie Eilish, I think we need more time to see if this resonates. I just think it's not dynamic enough to be on here. And Daft Punk, I've never come around to. So since this is my video and my list, I'm booting it. I'm gonna replace it with something inspired by it that name drops it when we get to the end of the list. Not this high. It'll drop lower, but it will be on this list. All right, and those are the ones I took off so far. case you want to know everything I've removed. If you feel like dropping in the comments and defending any of those albums as being one of the top 100 greatest albums of all time, I'm all for those defenses. That's why I'm doing this, is try to open my ears to new music. But anyways, that's all I got for this. Getting to the top of this list, enjoying this. Interesting to see what Apple Music has picked. But yeah, all right, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Go listen to any of these albums other than the ones I knocked off the list. Or listen to those anyways. I don't care. All right, thanks for watching. Peace. Talk to you later.